Hey guys, D1sco here. So I'm gonna apologize right off the bat for the fact that these videos are never recorded well. Steam like itself is just very hard to like record this. So I noticed a bit ago that Dead by Daylight got an update. Um, so today we're going to talk. So today I'm going to give my my reaction and thoughts to the 7.1.1 bug fix like patch note. So I know a little bit about this. I read some of this earlier. Me and Orange. I don't think he was making a video, but we were in a Discord call that just failed somehow. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what happened. 1 minute I was in a call with him, the next I was alone, and Discord was like kicking me like out of the call. So yeah, I have no clue what happened. I'm assuming he's playing Overwatch for me right now, and I hope that's going well, and I hope we're getting some good. I hope he's able to give us some good progress. But besides that, I also learned that a big reason why we're not doing the best right now is apparently the YouTube algorithm likes comments. So if you're for some reason watching this and want to comment, feel free. It helps us out a lot with the algorithm because apparently that's what the algorithm likes right now. But anyway, so let's jump right into this. So this was released, I guess, at 11 a.m. Eastern. I don't know how many YouTubers have talked about this. I think more of us have been more interested in the other thing that happens that both me and Orange have a video on, and if you haven't watched either, I would recommend it. That of course being the teaser trailer they released Thursday. So we're gonna start off with the content, and we're just gonna work our way through. There isn't much content here, so it shouldn't take as long as the last patch note, and because I fixed the camera's issues, that's good too. So we're gonna start with the content section. So it says updated the reactive healing perk. Reactive healing, I believe, is from one of the Resident Evil characters. I believe I could be wrong, but I believe that's who it's from. I believe it's from one of them. I don't fully remember what reactive healing does. I could be totally wrong. I honestly don't remember what that perk does right now. But yeah, so it says, so they updated it to round up to 100% health when there's only a tiny bit of healing missing. Example, instead of healing a survivor from 96.4%, it would complete the healing to 100%. 100% to healing at 100%. So yeah, basically, I'm not entirely sure like what all that means, of course, but it sounds like if you're healing someone and you have reactive healing, now that it's updated, it will like finish. It will just round up to 100, like depending on where you get it to. I do like that change a lot. But yeah, so now it says bug fixes and perks. So this whole section is dedicated to Nicolas Cage's perks. So dramaturgy, which is the one that I still can't pronounce, plot twist, and the first one, scene partner. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. The scene partner perks, scream and animation, are now played at the same time when curing from the plague's violent purge. Because scene partner is if you're in the killer's terriers and you scream, and it like will reveal their aura for you. So I guess when you played against Plague and you were doing like, you were at one of the fountains getting rid of her power, I guess it before the scream and the animation of like happened at different times, so now they happen at the same time. That that's just a little bug fix. I don't think that fully impacts it. I mean, it's good, but like I don't think it will fully impact gameplay. There's a few things I want to mention once I'm done reading this, because as I said when I was in that Discord call with Orange, we talked about it a little bit, and I would like to share my thoughts on the matter because because once again, just like with He-Man Strike turning into our fifth member Scooter Talk, I feel like it's an unpopular opinion. So I just feel like so I'll save that for the end. Build up some suspense for and all that. Survivors and lockers no longer scream because of dramaturgy's effect. I don't remember its effects very much. I think one of the effects is you just scream and do nothing. So I guess if you're in a locker and you have that perk, it will just do that sometimes. I'm not really entirely sure because when you activate you blood, so I'm not entirely sure what that means. The survivors no longer slowed down temporarily when activating dramaturgy. I feel like that's good because being slowed down even for a second is pretty detrimental right now. Survivors, at least the last time I played, killers was just so much. Well, but either both sides that I played were rough, but killers were out there getting 4K, and then when I play killer, I would get like 0Ks. It was awful. But yeah, it's just I feel like that's good because now the perk should activate like quicker. You don't have that short little delay, so yeah, that's good. Um, the spirit no longer causes the survivors within the scene partner with the scene partner perk to scream when passing in front of them without when phase walking. That does suck. Why is that gone? Because before you could hear her like walking, but I feel like that being able to do that was probably I would imagine that was a sort of I would imagine that was like those spirit add-ons that they changed because it was an unintended change. Yes, spirit technically got nerfed when they changed that, but again, that part of it I was fine with because that was like not even intentional. And I feel like that was another like maybe not intentional thing that just happened. So I think that's good, especially for spirit players. Seed partner no longer activates when the killer is undetectable using birds of prey. I do not remember what birds of prey even does. I know it's a hunter's perk. I always forget what it does. I believe it's the one that does the only part of it I ever remember is that you get like more blood points in one of the categories when using it when you're like at like the bloodlust tiers. But yeah, that's about all that I remember about that perks. But I think that's good. The dramaturgy perk no longer spawns event add-ons. I'm not entirely sure what that. So like you could potentially get a flashlight that had like an event bulb in it. That's interesting. I would imagine that wasn't intentional. So, but the fact that you could just get event add-ons does sound cool. Just like if you're able to escape, you would earn some of those event add-ons, I would imagine. But that's a good fix since it wasn't intentional. The dramaturgy perk no longer spawns an ultra rare item, so I'm assuming like the rainbow map and some of the other ultra rare items. I guess it could spawn, and no, it can't. So that's good. I mean, for the killer, and also the only ultra rare item I can think of is the rainbow map. I don't know if there's any else, so everything else that I can think of are add-ons for different things. So that's good. That sounds like a good fix. Survivors with the scene partner perk now correctly scream when reviving themselves with the plot twist perk in front of the killer. That sounds good to me. The plot twist perk is no longer briefly displayed as being as being usable after recovering from the dying state. Interesting, but yeah, that's good because I believe that's not supposed to work. So now we're to the character section. We're almost done with this. This is just like a small little thing, which does make sense because the mid chapter was Nick Cage, and they did drop that teaser trailer for the next chapter earlier, so I feel like this being short does make sense. Fixing the issue that caused the fast vault to have the same vaulting distance as the slow medium vaults. That is really good. That fix is amazing because fast vaulting is very useful. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy that that issue got fixed because that is a huge problem. So I'm very happy that got fixed. Like I've said, fix an issue that caused the survivors to be able to be picked up by the knight when they are down while being pulled out from locker by the guardian companion. I'm pretty sure they mistyped that because yeah, it just sounds weird. Like the part that's weird. So I don't remember what Guardia Campania even does. I know it's an add-on for Knight or Boy. I love Knight. He's so cool looking, and he's a flipping knight, which makes it even cooler. But anyways, I know that's an add-on. I don't remember what rarity, nor do I remember what it does. But the fact that they fixed that issue is good. I mean, that issue is, of course, screws over the survivors, since it now lets, since that issue fixed, they can now grab them from the lockers. But I do think it's a good fix. What's the next one? It says fix an issue that costs cosmetics. So free songbirds, which I don't remember who that's for, what that is. The pro pain hammer, don't remember who that's for, what that is either. I'm assuming Billy. Could be wrong though. The hound's mask, not sure either. And untamed donkey jacket, not sure either, to be missing from players' inventory. So I guess if you have the free songbird, the propane hammer, the hound mask, or the untamed donkey jacket, or all of them, I guess there was an issue where it would just be missing from your inventory. So I think that's good that that's fixed, so you can see all the stuff you have. So yeah, that's good. Oh, they touched Trapper. That makes me happy as someone who does enjoy playing Trapper, similar to say Odstarva. But just like Odstarva, his gameplay is kind of boring, and unlike Odstarva, I'm very bad as Trapper. So him getting touched is interesting. I hope it wasn't a nerf bullet. It says the Trapper's add-on Wax Brick. I do not remember which one Wax Brick is. He has quite a bit of add-ons that are similar-ish in terms of names, so it's hard to keep track. No longer has an incorrect value, so that's good. It's not the hugest change. It's not gonna like turn him into an amazing killer, but that's good that they fixed that, so it's not correct, showing the correct value. Survivors are no longer sometimes rendered unable to move when being killed by others. Um, Yeah, that's good because that sounds like a big issue. The nurse's matchbox add-on no longer affects the killer's carrying speed. I believe the matchbox item might be her increased her like speed one, but she loses a. Or no, I think I'm thinking of a different add-on. I mean, it's either that the ultra rare one that makes it so she has one blink, but she's like stupid fast, or it's like I think a purple or a green. But yeah, the fact that you can, but that's good. That she's no longer like dummy fastest, like picking, like carrying, because that is already his carrying speed fucking no way. Like I mean, it's good enough to like hook them, even with add-ons to make the hooks farther apart. Killers just have. I believe they nerf, or I believe during the 40 perk rework they changed something about that, and ever since then it's always been nearly impossible to wiggle out of the killer's grasp. But it feels like it's even harder now with how they when they it's even harder now with the changes they did to the skill checks, to the wiggling skill checks, because before the great skill check zones gave more progress and it was fine, but now the great skill check zones don't give more progress, and even with the more progress, it was still very hard for me to escape, and orange as well. But now the great skill check zones just make it so you move around more, which honestly is similar to like what boil over already does. And boil over, from what I've seen and noticed from matches that I've played, boil over does not seem to affect most killer players like at all. Most of them know how to like, you know, have it not affect them. So yeah, I'm just saying that like it's pretty good that like it was just a huge plus since you're not getting the increased progress. It's harder to escape now. So but that's a good. But anyways, like that's I feel like the Matchbox add-on getting changed, no longer doing that is good. Hex Huntress Lullaby activating no longer causes the Doctor and the Pig skill checks to be silent. So basically, what that means is the Madness Tier 3 skill check from Doctor and the Pig skill checks for taking her mask, her trap off, the like reverse bear trap. Um, I guess before they were silent if you used Huntress Lullaby, and now it no longer causes those to be silent. I think that's a good change. That sounds unintentional because Huntress Lullaby changes is supposed to change skill checks for I believe it's like generators and healing and stuff like that. But because Doctor and Pig are two of the few killers, I don't if not two of the few, if not the only killers that have a skill check involved with their power. I I think they might be the only two. I might be forgetting somebody though. So two of the only. I just think that that's kind of terrifying that they used to work like that, and I'm happy that that got fixed finally. I don't know how long that was an issue for, but I am happy that that's fixed. Well, survivors escaping for an exit gate no longer have their running animation stop abruptly before touching. That was something that I noticed that always felt weird. When you like end the match and you're running, as you're watching your character run, they hit an invisible wall and they're just stuck there. So I think that like what I'm talking about is similar to that. I'm not entirely sure because they're still running, but they're just like not moving because they're hit like an invisible wall. But I do think that's a good change that they now just keep running and they don't like stop abruptly because they're supposed to like they're supposed to run. So, um, let me just okay. So the knight can now properly pick the down survivors hit by the basic attack while grabbed from a locker by the guardian component. That sounds very similar to the issue one that they to the thing they talked about already, but this difference is saying that this one is saying that like you now properly pick up the down survivors when you hit them with the basic attack while grabbed from a locker. So I guess Knight had two issues regarding lockers and Guardia Campemia, or it's the same issue and they just felt the need to mention it twice, but with different wording for both. I'm not sure, but I think it's good that he can now correctly grab them. When installing a brand new part on a generator with a toolbox and affected by the overcharge perk, missed and failed skill checks now correctly result in the generator exploding. I think that's good because they're supposed to explode if you fail that skill check. So yeah, that's good. For the nurse, holding the blink input during a blink now correctly automatically starts the next blink in a chain. That's good. I guess it didn't do that before, but yeah, so that's good. The Onryo, aka our one and only Sadako, that got a full on rework a little bit recently. They changed like quite a bit about how she worked, and she is so much better now that Starva considers her to be S tier if you use the condensed properly. I always thought she was S tier, like at least in my heart. I knew she had problems, but she was an easy A or S tier for me before. And now that she works, in my opinion, a lot better, she is easily up there with Nurse and Blight for me now. So I'm very happy to have more S tier killers. It was kind of tiring that we had only, at least in my opinion, that we only had Nurse, who has been the best character forever, and Blight. So having Sadako up there as well was nice. So we have free options. So the Unreal Condensed Mori can no longer be executed twice on the same person survivor. I don't fully understand that because just like normal Moris, the Condensed Mori kills is supposed to kill like one at a time. If that makes sense, I'm sure you guys have used at least the normal Mori. The Condemned Mori works the same way. You just have to get the Condemned full. So the whole idea of being able to execute it twice on the same survivor is the part that I'm confused about because I don't understand like what they mean by that. I don't really know how that works because to me like they should be dead. So how are you doing it again to a dead person? I don't fully understand that. But it being fixed is good. So now we're on to the audio. So fix an issue that caused the Singularity's aiming loop SFX to still be playing if it was done while shooting a pod or slow streaming. Not, I feel like that's not the biggest deal in terms of raw gameplay, but it is good because having that the aiming loop SFX can be useful. So I think that's definitely a good fix. Fix an issue that caused Nicolas Cage's voice lines not to be stopped at the start of a Mori. I think that's good. If you guys asked me why Orange in the one video was saying Nicolas Cage like differently, couldn't tell you, but I love Nicolas Cage. So I'll give you the Orange Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage. There we go. Fix an issue that caused the Lucky Stroll and the Inspiration Seeker outfits. I have no clue who outfits those are for. If I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not someone that recognizes outfits like outfit names. There's really none that I ever remember. I recognize more so outfits for characters. Like if you described an outfit well enough for me for like whatever character, I would recognize it. The only outfits that names I know are like Baba Yaga for. It's really just like Baba Yaga for Huntress and a few others that I can't think of right now. Hospital Gal Myers, stuff like that. But that's just because I said the name and they're so unique. But in terms of like other outfits, yeah, I couldn't tell you who those are for. But I think that's interesting that I guess they played a collection music in the menu, which sounds like that wasn't intentional. So that's just interesting. So now we're on to UI. So fix the potential crash in the HUD when hiding the external perks. I have no clue what that means, but that's good that that crash is fixed. Fix an inconsistency between blood points spent and blood points displayed upon canceling the prestige level up halfway. I think that's good. I'm not entirely sure how you cancel that halfway because I've never done it. I've always hold if I'm at the prestige because I want to prestige that character, so I've never stopped it halfway unless if I was broke. But it doesn't even let you fully prestige. So, but I think that's good that those are fixed. So now we're to maps. So I guess some maps some exciting things about a few maps got changed. Fix an issue with an invisible collisions found in the Millions estate. I think that's definitely good because invisible collisions I don't believe are ever intentional by them and annoying to deal with. Well, not annoying to deal with, but I don't think they're intentional, so those game fix is good. Fix an issue of Bad Ham Preschool where the characters would clip out of the lockers. That is a good issue to fix, so I'm very happy about that. Fix an issue where the nurse could get stuck on top of a landing. That sounds like an amazing, amazing thing to happen to a nurse player so I can actually, play the game and not get 4K'd by the nurse. I mean, that's good that they got stuck, but that would seriously help me out if they kept that in there, because I suck against Nurse. Another change that they did with Nurse, this was in the last, reaction to patch note thing that I did. If you haven't watched that, which very few people did, I would highly recommend it. But basically, they mentioned the thing with Nurse where she would get stuck in a way on Topo's Landing where she just wasn't on the map somehow. And I still have not seen gameplay of that, but it still sounds amazing to me. Fix an issue in Erie of Crows or Isle of Crows. I don't flipping care. I'm gonna say Erie of Crows map where the projectile detection was not working as intended. I don't even know what it means by projectile detection. That's not. It doesn't really explain. It just says the map and something about projectile detection. I don't know if the projectile detection is like all killers or certain killers. Like I don't know. It's not very explained, but I think that's good that that's fixed because I guess it wasn't working as intended. So the fact that that got fixed is good, even if I don't understand it. If it's fixed, so that's good. Fix it. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I haven't been yawning at all today, and then as soon as I start a video, I'm yawning. I don't know why. Fixed an issue with the shrimp boat in the Pale Rose map where traps would clip in the ground. That is a good change to fix, or issue to fix. Fixed an issue in the fractured cowshed, which I believe got changed a little bit recently, where the Demogorgon was able to climb over collisions. That's a good thing to fix. Fix an issue where biopods could be placed outreach on Autohaven records. That's a good fix because that's a good fix. Fix an issue where a collision is mission next to a window or mod. That's a good fix. Also, why the wording in this has been pretty not great. Some of the bullet points are missing, you know what I mean, are missing words, so they just sound weird to say. But so far, no, I have no issues with this. It's pretty good. Events and archives. Fix an issue where a survivor could gain, when a survivor player could gain progress for a map item related challenges, i.e. cards a file without having to equip a map. That's a good fix. I believe you're supposed to have a map for those. Fix an issue where the outplay challenge was calculating the distance from the pallet to the killer instead of from the pallet to the down survivor, so that's good. Fix an issue where the outplayed yet again challenge was not gaining progress from survivors down near the Nightmare Stream pallets. They kind of nerfed. Well, that's a good fix, but yeah, Freddy, you need more love, man. Console. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. One of them I don't fully understand the wording of because they shortened it, but I believe I know what they're talking about now, so I'll try to explain it. They fixed an issue that caused no subtitles when playing video on XBX and XB1, which of course stands for Xbox One and Xbox Series X. So yeah, that's a good fix. Fix an issue that caused some survivors to get stuck on IIS on PS4. So that's the issue that Orange was talking about in that one, in that one video he did where he looked at the thing, the archive, the rift and all that, and the character portraits. For some PS4 players, I didn't have this issue, so I don't know what the problem was because again I didn't have this issue, but it would get stuck on the initialization something complete or whatever it says. It gets stuck on the text when it's loading. That's right before it lets you into the game, and just sits there and doesn't actually let you in. It just loads forever. So that getting fixed is a hugely good thing because that allows people to actually play the game now. So that is an insanely good fix because people can actually, more people can play the game now because that happened at least for Orange when Nicolas Cage launched. That was I think when that issue happened, so that's good. Fixing the issue that caused trophies or unlocked without roll progression on PS5, so just now you have to actually get the achievements normally now. I mean, that's good, but that's good. A miscellaneous. There's no longer an invisible collision in one of the hallways inside the preschool. That's good. So we have now finally read it all. And so, as promised, I'll give you guys my sort of final thoughts and opinions. But first, I'll start with my kind of controversial hot takes. before I read this, I saw I was just reading a few comments on Steam about this change, and there were two consistent things I noticed. Number one, people consider dramaturgy, the Nicolas Cage perk, to be like nerfed, and people seemed pretty upset about it. I'm in the minority on that one. At least from what I saw, because I don't have much to really comment about with dramaturgy, but it sounds like they were mostly just fixing some not intended things. So it's good to. So I'm happy about it because survivors and lockers no longer scream because of dramaturgy's effect. Like that's a good change. That's very useful. So you no longer trigger in a locker and kind of get killed. The dramaturgy perk no longer causes items to appear during anime interactions. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it seems good. I just don't fully understand that wording. The survivor is no longer slowed down temporarily when activating dramaturgy. That sounds like a buff to me because you're no longer getting slowed down. What are the other stuff with that perk? The dramaturgy perk no longer spawns event add-ons, and the dramaturgy perk no longer spawns an ultra rare item. Again, I don't fully understand why they say it was like a nerf. I mean, it did get buffed, and it did get buffed in a few ways. Since now, if you're in a locker, you no longer scream because of its effect, and you are no longer slowed down temporarily with activating dramaturgy. So I guess it's because of the other things. But again, I think they're good changes because they don't sound crazy. Like they don't sound crazy enough to really make or break the game. They just sound like little things that like were intentional that they finally fixed. So yeah. So I'm gonna be in the minority there, at least from what I saw. I do not agree that it's a nerf. I just feel like they were fixing some little things that were intentional, and but yeah, the other one, which seems to be, which was considered another, the other thing is people were very angry at behavior because of course they were about what they said was pig getting nerfed. I'm going to disagree. I am on the minority on that one yet again. Controversial hot takes from D1sco today, but my reasoning for being against that one as well is because the only change Pig got was, well, the only change that happened with Pig was her and Doctor technically got nerfed. Well, they didn't even nerf them specifically. They didn't touch any Doctor or Pig add-ons or themselves. They just, I guess, behavior just noticed that doctors and pigs that had Hunter's Lullaby and all the tokens, you wouldn't be able to hear the skill checks for their powers, and I don't think that's intentional. I believe you're supposed to hear those skill check sounds, so yeah, it got fixed. So I'm going to be in the minority with that one greatly. I think it's a good change. I saw some people that were being all whatever about. Well, I saw it was a comment from like a pig main. Kind of hard to believe those exist because I don't see pig very often, but I mean they do. I mean I'm afraid, man, for Christ's sake. So, what basically they were trying to say that behavior hates the M1 killers, which is definitely not true. Yes, the M1 killers don't get a whole lot of love, especially the licensed M1 killers like that were released in that time. They don't get much love anymore. But they don't, but they are still important to Dead by Daylight, and I'm sure there's changes for some of them on the way. They were also trying to say that survivors were just complaining about everything. I very much I hate a lot of killers players like when they say stuff like that because they don't fully take into account that like killers have a lot they can do nowadays to like kind of screw over survivors. They're like because killers get in the chase a lot. They like really get in the chase faster now, like when hitting that survivor, which is a very helpful thing, especially against like newer players. So yeah, basically everything that they said I had issues with, and a lot of things other comments I saw about pigs getting there specifically I had issues with. So I'll gladly be in the minority from what I've seen at least. I don't know if I actually am in the minority just from the comments that I saw. I definitely am in the minority in terms of dramaturgy's supposed nerf and pig's supposed nerf. Um, because they sound good changes to me. Like dramaturgy sounds pretty good. Uh, Not too bad. I'm very happy about the no longer cause or I'm looking at the wrong one. The one where you no longer slow it down temporarily when activating it. I think that's an insanely helpful buff to the perk. And again with Pig, like that feels like one of those unintentional things. So I'm very happy that got changed. Um, so yeah, so those are my hot takes, hot minority opinions out of the way. In terms of everything else, I can't fully comment on Nick Cage's perks. I've yet to even use his perks, so I'm not entirely sure what they even do still. But the dramaturgy ones I do like, especially as I've said probably for a lot in this video. The one where you no longer get slowed down temporarily. Seeing partner seems pretty interesting. The changes for that weren't too bad. I do like them. And then they didn't really touch plot twists very much, but the thing that they did do but the things that they did touch about it are good. The reactive healing thing where it rounds up now sounds pretty nice. The characters themselves, like that fast vaulting now, like working correctly, sounds is very good. Since I guess there's an issue with that, so Gacking Phase is nice. The Guardia Campania thing sounds pretty good. The Nurse Want thing sounds pretty good. The Trapper add-on showing the correct value now seems good. The issue from seeing those cosmetics sounds good because obviously you want to sell all your cosmetics. Um, oh yeah, the whole sometimes no like not being able to move when being healed by other survivors. That's a hugely good thing as well, so now you can actually move. Um, the Hunter's Lullaby changes I still like. Um, Survivor Screen for the exit gate sounds pretty like good since that's like how it's kind of supposed to work. The brand new part one with overcharge sounds good since that's I believe since that's how it's supposed to work. Um, the Sadako condensed Mori sounds good, even if I don't really understand that. So the audio changes sound pretty good. They weren't crazy, but they do sound good. The UI stuff is very nice because of the whole inconsistency thing getting fixed and the whole potential crash. So yeah, those are very helpful. The map stuff sound pretty good. They weren't anything totally crazy. It's just mostly like invisible collisions and some other like things clipping in it, things like clipping out of things, nerves getting stuck. The area crow like detection thing not working as intended, a few other things. Like, all of them sounds really good. The events and archive sounds pretty good as well, so now you're correctly getting progress for those challenges. The console changes sound very useful, especially the one about the PS4, so now you can actually like get into the game, which is huge. And the miscellaneous one also sounds good since you no longer that invisible collision. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell, do all the autography garbage. It helps us out a lot, especially commenting, since apparently the algorithm loves comments. Um, I know I had some hot takes in this. I really do personally like all the changes. I get that those people that like again about the whole comments I saw. I'm sure some of them are probably joking, but some of them definitely seemed very. But a lot of them seemed very like their honest opinions, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go against those opinions because that's just how I took it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. It feels good knowing that Orange is at least starting to be has found a way to come back to the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying his return. He technically came back for the RAF War videos, which I did. Those videos have not done very well, so if you haven't seen them, go ahead and check them out. And him being back is nice. He's tried some videos. Um, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Before I keep rambling, just know that I really like these changes, and I'm excited to see. And I'm excited for the next stuff next things they have in store for us. So yeah, bye guys. Bye.